I have some time here. So I said I was going to do this a while back ago. But I will load my brain project up. It's called Braindon because my name is Brandon. And I've also called it Conspiracy Mind. But yeah, this is actually the last thing I was just working on. I was going through linguistics and whatnot, trying to add things there. But I just went home. As you can see, this is the brain. I'll go ahead and show you the statistics I have. So 84,415 thoughts, 0 forgotten thoughts, and I'll show you in a little while what that is. Links, 85,936 links. So those will be links to other things outside of just the thoughts. Links per thought, 1.02, so that's just doing the average. Thought types, 469. I'll show you in a minute what the thought types are. Link types, I have 94. Tags are 44, which I need to actually fix some because I didn't add all those. I did integrate one other brain with mine early on, and it was a Shakespeare brain, which it's alright. The guy isn't as organized as I am, so I have to fix a lot of the issues that were in his, so it can flow nicely into mine, which I've been doing that over time, but I haven't made it like an issue. Anyway, notes and attachments. I have 4,858 notes, which over here to the right, those are your notes. I usually use these AI generated notes in here. This is for evergreen information. If it's information that's like conspiracy related, because this is a conspiracy mind map, I usually write it, or I bring something that someone else wrote and put it in here so that it can be maintained in here, so it's not deleted or censored on another platform. Recently, I know, like if anyone's paying attention, archive.org was DDoSed or whatever, like this week, and things were removed. And they've historically removed things. There's things, and I actually have proof of it on here on this mind map of things that people have removed, things that they have, and Wikipedia, Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, or X. All of them. All of these big companies are censoring. So same with YouTube. Even though I'm going to be on here, I am going to try to share this to other places, like BitChute being one, maybe Rumble, Odyssey. But anyway, I'll keep going. Internal files 4,918, and those you'll see in a minute what those will be. Web links 509, so those will be outgoing web links. Assigned icons 295, which I have a lot more icons than that, but there's only 295 actual assigned, and I can show you that also if I can remember to do that. Internal file size 25.08 gigs. That's quite a bit. I'm trying to keep it under 30 because right now they have a soft cap, I know, around 30. And they said they'll reach out to you. It's on a case-by-case basis, but I do have some pretty large files in here, about half a gig, and they're usually pictures, art, that type of thing. Icon file size, the total size right now, 427.2, almost a half a gig, just on the file icons. So there's a bunch of things you can do within the brain, and I'll go ahead and hit this. That's syncing, that syncs everything. There's a layout button. You can go normal, outline, or mind map. Outline is basically the slowest. If you want your computer to really have issues once you get your mind map up and going, this will create those for you. And I'll just show you. It'll lag my computer for a second, but we're going to do it. And you can kind of see what it has done now. So this was actually how I originally started looking at the map, and then it got to be way too much. So here's home again, Earth, and you can see the difference. So it kind of spreads everything out. So there's your normal view, and then there's the outline, and the outline being all the way up. Since I am a believer in God, I have God the Father at the top for me. And then, but if you go down, I mean, this isn't even the whole thing. This is just everything that could be related to Earth. And that goes down to here. And you can actually expand things, keep going, cities. And I have way more cities than just that, but those are all I've connected. Because I figure over time, there will probably going to be some implementation of this brain. It'll have some way AI will be able to connect things that I haven't been able to do. And they kind of are already doing that via this thing on the right. And you can kind of see things called backlinks or unlinked mentions. So like a backlink. I have not linked this, but it'll talk about Earth if I go to islands. And it'll say, probably somewhere on here, it'll talk about Earth. And I haven't linked it. And let me see if it'll let me actually. There it is. And actually, that one says it is mentioned there. I'll try one more time just to see. So I'm just control F keying here. So it looks like it's just that one. I don't know why it says it's unlinked mention. Unless maybe there's something down here. Yeah, it could be in here too. One of these backlinks. So yeah, and you can kind of see. So I didn't type all this, but I have added AI evergreen notes of things like Alaska and allies, American Samoa, Anguilla, or Anguilla. I don't know. I think it's Anguilla, but Aruba. All these different places. So yeah, those are things that I would list under islands, and eventually I'll change tags and whatnot. And I've kind of done it with some like religions and like states and country ownership property things. You'll see. So like I'll go to United Kingdom. I'll just I messed up there. Let's say actually what I just did is create something, and sometimes that happens. What you can do, just Control Z, and it's deleted. And I'll go back to United Kingdom here. And you can kind of see what I was talking about. So United Kingdom, if I zoom in, and I'm going to go back to my normal view because this is a lot to look at. And, I mean, you can see some Soros family down here. I am a conspiracy theorist, and he is part of it. So that's kind of what I've worked on, but it's a lot. Like I said, there's little over 84,000 thoughts, and they're all related to conspiracies in one way or another. Or just things that I'm interested in, but it's nothing that could be just relevant to me, I guess, if that makes sense. I try to make it relevant for everyone. Sorry, those are my chickens if you can hear them. But let me go ahead and change this back. So there's back to normal United Kingdom. So I'll show you countries. I've uploaded every single country's flag. I mean, you can see they're in the highest quality. Got a little bit of everything. We have like locations. There's Europe right there, and that's another cool thing I have implemented here. Basically, whenever I hover, it does pull up these icons, or some of these aren't yet assigned icons, which is why they're not showing up. But point being, there's World Economic Forum. You click on that. I have notes, all the founding of it. There's Klaus Schwab, Agenda 2030. You can kind of see how it leads you to everything. I have the World Economic Forum police. There's a picture. There's their police badge, and the satanic nature of it looks like the goat. And I actually could add notes here. So I'm going to hit context thought. We're going to hit World Economic Forum. It is police force, but I'm going to go off the World Economic Forum branch. I always increase my word count to 1,000. Creativity, I just leave it at 70. I hit generate, and then we'll see what it does here. There you go. Held annually in Davos, Switzerland, is a pivotal event that gathers leaders from around the globe, including heads of state, business magnates, cultural influencers, other prominent figures, to discuss pressing global issues. And it keeps generating, and you can kind of see as it generates, you can kind of read. It's not super fast. It's I think they're using GPT 4.0 on this. But it's their own implementation or their own actual like created GPT, which you can do. I have my own GPT that I've created. Actually, I have 3 of them, and they're all kind of based around this. Actually, I'll just show you real quick. So chat, OpenAI. As you can see, I use Yandex for my search engine. I don't use Google. I've kind of gotten over that. They censor so much. I use it as a secondary. Yandex is my primary. So like brain generation. This is kind of cool how I've set this up. And you can do this yourself, or you could use mine. This will be just for the brain if you're interested in using it. If you have some form of chat GPT, I think the 4.0 thing that they just implemented will allow you to use this. So I have one called Writer's Chaos, which is basically, it breaks things down as like a psychologist would, and it writes it in that form or format. And you can use, I've used a few of those for my GPT. It's just more matter-of-factly instead of summarization, which I kind of sometimes need to do. And then I have the Brain Artistic Creation generator, which is like my icons. So if I've ever needed to create a few icons, I've used those. If I couldn't find something that was high enough quality, that's what I've used. So brain generation, we'll just type list of the kings of Italy, or we'll say chronological. Let's just type it in correctly. Chronological list of the kings of Italy. Here we go. And you can kind of see what it's done. So it's adding these decimals. In the brain, it does have a certain code that if you want, and I'll just show you like the popes. I have those done already. So first pope is Simon Peter. If you click on him, it says 0.1. It should actually say 0.01. And that was probably before I figured everything out. But let's see if I did it right. Nope, I didn't do it right there either. But I think it actually probably doesn't matter because I don't know if it's doing it that way. Let's see if I get to the, I'll just fix these real quick. If I get to 10, let's see if I did it correctly. Oh, and then stops at Pope Alexander. Let's see who the 8th Pope is. I don't have him listed yet. So I will have to go, it's Sixtus. So 0.07. So then I should actually go ahead and link him. So you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. Pope Alexander the First was the guy who was right before him. We'll say, and so here's all my link types is what these are called. I just did succession there, and I can do another one here, which this I've asked for before from the guys on the forum, for the creators of this brain program. It would be really nice to be able to select multiple things, like, you know, these link types here, and then change them all to be succession. Because like if I changed, I'll just show you what I'm talking about here, to outline, you can kind of see I can select multiples, all of these successions all the way down. And if I could do that and then just change all these at once, I wouldn't have to be scrolling so much. It takes a lot of scrolling and wasted time, and I'm really big on efficiency. I was an air traffic controller for 10 years, and I do have air traffic control stuff in here if you want to see. Just so you guys can kind of see what I have on here. That's me. ATC phraseology. I have all the phraseology for the wiki here. If you go, you know, Roger, Wilco, say again, stand by, correction. I have the 0.65 in here. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I have the AIM for pilots, all the Federal Aviation Administration stuff, U.S. federal agencies. I have an entire list of every single one. They're all organized under the government, so you could see the umbrella, kind of how it works. It's pretty interesting, I think. Yeah, this Code of Federal Regulations, which I started working on, but I'm kind of ADD, as you can tell, and I jump around, but when I come back to it, I'll finish more next time, and that's kind of how I work on these. So I'll go king. Actually, we'll do Italy. Then we'll say Italy king if it says that. Let's see. So I already have 2 of them in here, and let's see if I can go ahead and find them. It might be easier to see on this other page, but I'm going to go ahead and enter. It's fine if we have 2, because there's something I can show you here. Let's see if it shows me a Lambert or a Spoleto. I wish I could hear anyone else, because they would be able to see it. There's a Lambert. We'll go ahead and combine him. So I just hit Control-click on him. Control-click. What I'm going to do, I've already got a hotkey set. I hit Control-Q. That merges. So I've just merged them. And what was the other guy? Was it this guy 3 of Spoleto? I don't know what I was looking at. There's a guy. Is there a guy 3? Guy the 3rd? I do not see him, so I guess he can be left. Unless guy here is guy the 3rd. Let's go ahead and see. Generate and see what it says. Italy king. Nope. So that's kind of one of the issues here. I'm going to have to go... Yeah, it was guy of Spoleto. Guy the 3rd of Spoleto. Yeah, so this is the same guy. And there's not a stop button, which is another implementation I hope they add. Because ChatGPT has that. You can hit stop during the generation of the AI. If you see something it's generating wrong or something could be fixed. And this is one of those types of things I think could be helped. It would help, again, with efficiency, time, time management. So I'm going to go ahead and combine him and him. We're going to hit Control-Q. And there we go. So I'm going to do this because it's going to leave 2 forgotten groups. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. They're selected. They've already been forgotten, so I don't have to delete them. Or I don't have to shift click delete, because if you hit shift click delete, it skips the forgotten step, because the idea of thoughts being forgotten is basically it'll save you from losing progress accidentally. If you accidentally delete something, it really won't let you accidentally do anything like that on here, because you would have to hit shift, and if you were to hit shift, you're doing it intentionally. There's no accident, I don't think, there. But I'm going to go ahead and delete 4 thoughts, and they're gone. Just like that. We're going to go back to my sorting. There's 84,475 thoughts. A bunch of these, though, I will say, you can see I've added all the times, all the minutes of the clock during the day, which that's probably like 1,000 different things. Let's see. How many minutes are in a day? And that's something I could probably add to my brain. So 1,440. Let's see if it's already in here, actually. So we'll go 1440 minutes. We'll type minutes and then go bring that one to minute, which I do already have. And there we go. 1440 minutes is equal to, or actually I should move it here. We'll say analogous, because I use that a lot of the times. There you go. 1 day is analogous or equal to, or I don't know, I could probably add another type with that. See, that's the reason I haven't done that. I've used analogous for things that sometimes don't make the most sense, but it's because otherwise I would be adding more to this already gigantic list where I'm scrolling as much as I am. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it 1440 minutes is equal to 1 day. And then we'll say 365 days is equal to a year. I haven't done stuff like that yet. So there's an accident. I really hope that changes at some point, or maybe there's something I'm missing that it already has a way to change. Probably in the options or something. It's locking up on me. I'm gonna fix my camera. I'm using my phone for I don't have my good camera. It's actually, we're filming a TV show here in a few months. Oh, I think it's locked up. Sometimes it does that occasionally, and I've got a couple of things going. Let me exit out of it and come back in. And it probably won't sync. Oh, it did. Cool. Back to this. I'm converting files right now also on my computer to HEVC, changing formats. So let's see if I can do this again. Year. Why is it having so many issues with going to year here? I'm dumb because I still have it on the outline mode. See, that's what happens. It locks up. That's because, and I'll show you why it's locking up actually in a minute. My years have, I have a bunch of them. I've basically gone from like 6,000 BC to now, and I'm trying to connect all a timeline of events. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever really done it, but I want to be able to do it where you can see it, laid out. And as you go through it, you can see all the different things, the conspiracies that occur, or not even conspiracies, just like people's lives, and follow events that took place or whatever. That stuff's interesting to me. So I'm a huge history buff. So that's why I keep it in my normal mode, and I usually don't change it out. And as you can see, it locks up. My computer's actually a very fast computer. I built it. No, I do not. Okay, so we are on normal. Let's see if year. Okay, now year works. It changed back to year. I guess my normal default mode. Which this is what we want. So like if I hit AD, and first let's do this 365 days. And we'll say that's analogous. technically a leap year. We'll go ahead and add the leap year one for 366. Where's that? So then days, then day. And you can kind of see how it goes. It takes a little while to get used to this, but once you do, it's pretty easy. Once your brain kind of, and mine already kind of always thought like this, I think. And it helps that I'm using this program. So, and then I'll type in the numbers. So there's, you see as I typed it in, 365. And then leap year, 366. And just like that, we're done. So 366 days is a leap year. And then days, it's, you know, you can kind of see how it does. We'll generate something for Holy Day. Let's see what comes up. Holy days are special days designated by various religions. There you go. And this is what I'm talking about, evergreen information. I don't think this is harmful to use AI to use for AI to write things like this. You have to be careful though, because sometimes it will give you false information, because a lot of this is probably coming from places like Wikipedia, which is changed pretty radically over the last 10 years, and they don't operate with the same, like, I think, level of integrity that they used to have. I do have certain encyclopedias and things that I'm planning on adding in here, but I have to do it just for research, and I'll never charge for this, but I do have to be careful. Obviously, I don't want to ever violate someone else's like copyright or anything like that. So I've been trying to focus on just getting the information that is required into this, so that it can be used by everybody, and especially people who, you know, are into journalism or just research or studying history or whatever. But you can see what I did with Holy Day. It looks pretty good, right? Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, Islam, Christianity. And holy site, we can say religion. Here's all of our religions. I have to still do a few more. I started with like Christianity and Judaism and Islam a while back ago. And I've only kind of worked on Christianity and Judaism as far as like people. And maybe, you know, a couple of people I've gotten labeled for Islam, but I want to be able to, over time, be able to see who was what and when they lived and what they did. So this is very much like a sociological like experiment or project or whatever you want to call it. It's relational. Everything is showing the relationship from one thing to another. And as you can see, so if I click on Buddhism, there's, you know, different things within it. Mahayana Buddhism, Won Buddhism, Korean Buddhism, which I lived there for 3.5 years, and it was an interesting time to be there. There's the Baekje. I have Koreo, Shia, or Sindra. That says Sinla. That can't be right. Maybe that is. Is that right? Which I've always pronounced it Sheila, but maybe is it Sinla? Yeah, that's the correct pronunciation. Sinra. Sinra. Even though it's Sila. Interesting. So yeah, that was one of the 3 kingdoms. I've been doing research on that. You can see there's some of the things in there, and I kind of just used because Wikipedia is open source, or not open source, what is it? They don't have like licensing issues. You can kind of take that and use it on yours. So I've used it for now. It's a placeholder until one day maybe I'll find something better. I do have certain maps of Korea, but I don't have good modern maps like this. This one works pretty well for me to see like what it was at the time that, you know, this was occurring. So yeah, I have tons of this. Pyonan Confederacy. There's all these different things. Chiefdom, Korean history, and you can kind of see the Korean language. I have here, I'll show you. I speak some Korean, so Granada, Korean consonant. I have links to those Korean language sites and books that you should order. Pachim. That says Pachim. So that's the order of the final letters. That's what it stands for. Oh, there it is, Pachim. Yeah, this is it's interesting. This whole setup of this brain, what I've called Braindon. It's really neat, and I've used it to kind of write everything I know and add things. Something I do like, just so y'all know, if you saw what I just did, you can click on this, and it opens up into another program if you choose, or you can open it just in here, and you can actually click on it here, do the same things, and it just opens right up to your default, whatever it was. And mine quickly does stuff like that. I have another cool feature that I've been adding, maps. So we'll see, like, let's go look at Turkey. Oh, it's gonna start lagging. There's a John Speed map. He's a big guy from way back in the day, English cartographer. You can kind of see this is what the olden Turkish Empire looked like. Yeah, Persian kingdoms, border of the dukes, and those are all the dukes. Obviously, like just getting into the German areas, or I guess what it would have started was that, like, Bulgaria. Well, Bulgaria is like right here. I don't know, Bavaria. I don't know, or Bavaria, Lotharingia. I don't know what time period this would have been. 1626. There you go. So Lotharingia is probably gone by then. I don't know exactly. I'm not. I know generalizations within history on a lot of like medieval, but I mean I'm pretty good. I know like 1066 is the Norman conquest of England, and 867 is the split of the East and West. What is it? Roman Empire. But yeah, my brain's doing a lot of that stuff a lot of the time. So all these maps I really love. You can zoom way in on them, because they were made back in the day on huge tables and pieced together, and we don't really do that anymore in our art. So that's how you can zoom all the way in, see the pixels and whatnot. I think it's pretty interesting, and I have maps of all kinds. That's probably half of my 25 gigs is in maps. So, and another quarter is like old books and things like that. Things like psychology, 16 personalities. I have links. I was trying to get more of these. So like that's me. I'm an INFJ. I have also been, what is the other? I think it was INFP, but is that correct? Is there a second INFP? Is that what I'm looking at? Anyway, INFJ is what I've been almost every other time. I've also been, ENFJ. There we go. So I think those are the three I've tested as. I've probably taken this test like 15 times. 10 times I've been INFJ, 2 times, maybe 3 ENFJ, 1 or 2 times INFP, something like that. That's probably the breakdown, close to what it was. I have different things, psychology website, just websites in general. These are kind of my favorites / just what I think are useful to people. So like here's IQ website. You can actually use an IQ, like I think it's a Swedish one, a Swedish IQ test, something like that. That's the Jordan Peterson one. It might be the other one. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but there's a Mensa one. I tested one time when I was younger, and I was like 156, which was 4 points short of genius, but it was like a 10-year-old test, I think, at the time when I took it. And it was I had a psychology teacher in high school for 2 years. His name was Dale Severson. He was a basketball player from, I think, University of New Mexico. He was a big old tall dude. I hope he's alive still, but he's probably gone. If he is, he's late 80s or early 90s now. So I'm 34, and that was, almost 20 years ago, probably 20 years ago, close to. But I thought that was interesting. So things like that, things that have influenced me over time, and I always did kind of think I was a smart guy, which obviously, as you can see, I have a thing called the brain that I like to use, and I like to use my real brain. Kind of interesting, not really that interesting, but just making small talk. Carl Jung, you see that he has the Jewish lineage, he is Jewish, and I think I should, or is he showing? Oh no, it's because he was a Kabbalist. I see. So if they're anything outside of just standard like Orthodoxy, they'll have something like this. If not, it'll just say like Jewish lineage. I've tried to keep that because that is important to them, in that religion. And Christianity isn't like you don't have to have always been Christian to become Christian, So that's why I have it in here. It's not because I'm anti-Semitic or anything like that. Uh, I'm a I like people of every race and religion, but I do want to know what every person is and what religion they follow and how they practice and what they think, and so I have a lot of things like that. When you go to people, I'll show you. So we go to mails. Here's all my mails I have, and there are 1,301 that I have so far linked. We'll see 554 females. Pakriti. That's the Indian word. Yeah. It's the female goddess or whatever. Let's let's see. So Marcus Aurelius, you can see here. Roman emperor. Is that correct? Yeah, he was. Why does that seem weird? Where am I at here? There he is. Yeah, so I thought he was showing he was at the top. I'm like, that can't be right. Thought I fixed this. So I can actually, this one was something I worked on yesterday. And I still need to show like the successions and whatnot. But here's like Julius Caesar's family, Aurelia Cata, and then Gaius Julius Caesar. And that should show them being married. I don't know why I didn't do that. I usually always do, but sometimes I miss things, and that's another reason I'm going over this now. I just figured I'd kind of work and talk about this program while I was working. So that's what I'm doing. Not putting in too much work right now, but I think it's kind of cool to show everything. Oh, here's the Shakespeare thing. So you can see this is one of my. So I've been having to add Shakespeare on a lot of things because see, it makes sense because in his own thing he only was thinking in the scope of only Shakespeare. So writing just Julius Caesar was fine because it was a play that Shakespeare did. He actually wrote the whole play in here, which I think is pretty cool. Because this searching actually pulls it up on the top. If I typed it in, it would find whatever I was looking for. So yeah, he didn't have it, so I had to add Shakespeare. I added this type, link type, and it's called namesake because it is the namesake of Julius Caesar. And I could probably do a directional namesake thing, but it doesn't really matter. You can see by looking at it that this maybe one day I'll do all of that. But that's just so much extra work right now, and it's just me. My wife has been starting to help. She's just generating like these years. I'll show you what we've been doing. 1 AD. Man, it's lagging right now. But I'm also converting things. But that's only taking about 20% of my processing power and 30% of the GPU. So it shouldn't be doing this. But anyway, here's January 1, January 2 of 1, January 3 of the year 1. January 4, and so you can kind of see things go along. We've been doing that for each of them. I think we're at the year 23, but we actually have to go back now and fix the first leap years because I misread and thought it was 45 AD when leap year started, but it is 45 BC when leap year started. So we're going to have to fix like 5 of these. But I have done them all. I did all of them from, I think, 1973. What year was it? 1972. There it is, 72. So 72 to now, I have every single day in here. And it seems redundant, but over time you'll see why I'm doing this, because there's certain patterns that begin to emerge when you type things in. For instance, we'll go to like September 11th. There's September 11th, 2001, 9/11, which is the conspiracy, Larry Silverstein, Radical Islam, Department of Homeland Security, Afghanistan, why'd we go there? Flight 77. This is actually a the government was not involved thing, which I'm trying to be non-biased. I want to show both sides of an argument. So I did, and this is basically that. This is the evidence this guy wrote out, and I saved it all. It's a bunch, and there's a bunch of PDFs and stuff like this I have on here, but this guy took a lot of time to put it together, even if I think it's probably not true, and a lot of propaganda, and even whenever I was reading what he was saying, he was just quoting basically what the government said line for line, so it seems like maybe he could be just a disinformation agent altogether. And there's a lot of those out there right now. There's our government and other governments putting them out, and so that's kind of the whole reason I've built this thing, because you can't find the correct information. Google, like you type something in Google, like let's type in George Soros. Tells you, the Wikipedia. Um, let's say George Soros conspiracy. Conspiracy theories, anti-Semitism. So right off the bat, you start seeing things, name calling, they're labeling people. You're anti-Semitic as soon as you criticize anything with George Soros. That's something I just don't stand by. And like if you type that in Yandex, we'll see what happens here. Oh, see, it already's coming up Nazi right there. Everything you need to know, Soros-related conspiracy theories, open society, what you need to know, Kingpin. Like, see, this isn't serving up basically censorship, and labeling, and to me, it's not anti-Semitic to question things. You should question everything. Benjamin Franklin says, "What? Question with boldness, even the very existence of God." Like that is, yeah, it's just frustrating to me when you see it being torn down like this. So this is the yellow patch and all that, and Soros has obviously benefited, from his group and his upbringing and his life, and so you've heard things. So he is listed on here as Jewish. Like, that's not a bad thing against him. It's not anti-Semitic for me to criticize him either. Same with Larry Silverstein and his involvement in 9/11, because he sold his. Actually, we'll go ahead and see if it covers that. Let's just see. We'll see Jewish lineage. It's going to cover him, even though it's not really. It works. I didn't really want it to say "and his Jewish heritage," but we're going to leave it. I mean, I don't really care. I'm not trying to fix every single thing. But basically, yeah, he put up the World Trade Centers. He insured them, which everyone says, well, they had to be insured because they were attacked before. Yeah, but also, you don't find it like weird the timing of the sale and all of that, and the way he made money and the shuffling of the money afterwards, and to me those are all things that should be investigated, and eventually they will be by me. I have tons of things, so I'll just go ahead and give you guys an idea of what I've been doing. So I have conspiracy. I have just folders and folders. So there's 1,786 items here. Let's see how big this is. Properties, 40 gigs. That's just of that. And I have archive. I have things for Christianity, extras, Gallimore Acres. There's my book, personal pictures. There's more stuff for the brain, which is more like secret societies, British Museum. So I have a bunch of things I have to add. There's my band. I'm doing a bunch, and I'm gonna add all that music and stuff. And so like we'll see Korean national. I thought I had it. Let's see, national anthem maybe. I swear I had the Korean national anthem in here. It might be labeled as something else. See, that's the other thing with this brain, that you have to constantly make these connections, because my brain is faulty and it will forget things. But if I can type one thing in that will get me there, that's basically what I'm trying to do. And I want that to be for everyone. If they can type in one thing that gets them down a rabbit hole where they learn something or they become wiser, that's a success for me. So here's the wave. There we go. I had the Korean one there somewhere because when I was in Korea, they would always play the Korean one and the American one for years. That's what I heard, and I remember just those two being played together a lot, and I always thought it was neat, But I do love like Hail Columbia and even like Columbia, the name, where it comes from the name Christopher Columbus, and all the things that use the name Columbia, which I think is very interesting if you start getting into the origins of where that comes from. Columbus Day, which people have the issue with that U.S. federal holiday. They want to call it Indigenous. What is it, RFK just said? Indigenous Peoples Day or something along those lines. Whatever. Call it what you want. I don't think Columbus Day. I don't. If you read about like Columbus's origins, he was sponsored by, like the king and queen of Spain, and it was kind of like a charter, like how the English did their charters. It wasn't something to be proud of, he also wasn't the first one to get here, so that was something else. It could be called something else. I don't care what it's called, really. It's a free day off. there's the Democratic Party, Republican Party. I have basically every college and university. So like college football playoff, NCAA. You can see there's just the first NCAA Division One. There's the conferences, all the different teams and stuff, and eventually I'll add every single. I thought I had most of them somewhere. Uh, Basically logos. I've been adding a bunch of logos and things that you can see, like Division One. Eventually, it'll all get done though. This is gonna be a lifelong thing for me. I'm gonna be working on it. I'm 34, so and I've done this in everything here in less than 5 months. So I started at the end of January, basically. I think I had like 10 thoughts prior to January, essentially. Uh, and yeah, either end of January or early February, and this is now May 31st. So I feel like I can do quite a bit in a short amount of time. It doesn't take very long. Uh, but yeah, so my wife just texted me. I'm gonna have to jump off here. I think they're bringing a kid home or something. So she took the kids out, and I gotta go be a dad. 38, 41 minutes actually it says of time that you got to see what I've been working on, and I'll try to add more later. Um, but I figured someone would think it's interesting, and to me it is. I'm a kind of a data hoarder, and I like to organize things and thoughts, and and also be able to present them. There's all the days. There's a bunch. It takes a long time now. It's something I hope over time that I don't know if it's their code or just my computer, that this is so much information that it just really truly is overloading everything. But that is one of my worries. But I think if I can keep my computer upgraded over time, it'll help improve it. So the working on the program. Anyway, I will make another video in the next few days. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know. Bye bye.